There we go. Really good to be with you.
Yeah,
See you again.
Thank
How have
you.
you been?
I'm good.
So you're the founding.
It's a new year.
New year?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so you're feeling hopeful?
Yeah. A lot of opportunities this year.
Good. So you're the founder and CEO of BOSAG, which stands for?
Business Outsourcing Services Association of Ghana. It's a premium association for those in the BPO and IT enabled services. I would say global business services.
Amazing. And we're going to hear more about that, but first, let's talk about your own personal journey to this point.
Yeah, well, I started my career as an engineer, a telecom engineer, worked for then Space Phone, and then moved on to Ericsson. And then I had an opportunity to work for Ericsson in many African countries. But a lot of talents in those African countries, whether it's Nigeria, Zambia, Kenya, or other countries that I work in, but we couldn't find a lot of people locally to work for us as telecom engineers. And then I realized that, look, there's a need for us to build capacity because we have talent, but we don't have people who are skilled enough to work in this space. So I came back to Ghana, and then with my colleagues, I set up the Institute of ICT Professionals Ghana, which is a professional body. So from there, we definitely needed to train people and provide them with the necessary skills that is required to be able to work in this space.
Okay.
So with that, now we then move into the BPO IT enabled services, because after training, people must definitely find jobs. So I'm really excited about this whole journey.
Yeah.
And now we are here where we are looking for opportunity for young people in this country.
Very important work. And so, our campaign is called Powered by Africa because we believe that, we know that it's a fact. Africa will power the world over the next century. We're going to add an extra 2.5 billion people to the globe. But Africa's already been powering the world. So we're going to talk about the future, but we're also going to talk about the present during this conversation.
Yeah.
So before I start, BPO, business process outsourcing. For those who are not too aware of what that is, can you explain it for us?
So BPO have been there for many years, but people don't look at it as a service that they actually provide. So anybody providing service to another company, what we normally call the non-critical services to another company, is actually in the BPO space. Whether you are processing documents, or you are processing a payroll, or you are, receiving calls for a company, or you are a back office person that is, developing application for another service provider. You are all in the BPO or what we call the global business services.
Yeah.
And that is something that is actually getting a lot of traction in Africa, and Ghana wants to lead that space as well.
Ghana wants to lead the space. And so we talk about BPO as something that already exists. You go to India, millions, tens of millions, potentially even hundreds of millions of individuals are directly or indirectly involved in the BPO ecosystem.
That's right.
Same in the Philippines. But then when you look at Africa, I think Africa has about 2% of that market. So talk to me about, I guess, the evolution of the market in Africa at the moment.
So we are lucky. We are the youngest continent, average age 19 years old. The next 25 years or so, Africa will be the home of a quarter of the world's workforce. What that means is that if we take 10 billion people, a quarter of those people will be sitting on this continent, and they will be the ones supporting the workforce. The rest of the continent will get older, but people will have to leave and services will have to be rendered, and Africa will then be the continent. And we've already started. All the big players are beginning to come here. But there's a bit of work to be done. That is why we have organizations like BOSAG here to support that journey.
And as you say, organizations have started to look at Africa for many reasons. Yes, there is some competitiveness around price, but also a lot of the infrastructure that perhaps a few decades ago people didn't think was here is here right now. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, 2 decades ago, I was working as a telecom engineer. We used to install telecom marks and activate, calls for people. And for the first time, some people in some villages were able to make mobile phone calls. Fast forward, after 20 years, now we have services, internet services on the phone, what we call a smartphone. And that journey, that entire journey of not owning a phone, and now you own a phone, not only making a call, you can now have WhatsApp, Facebook, other services. You can order for food and others on your phone. Africa has really moved from the ages of no connectivity to now, internet connectivity, connecting to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
This is a game changer.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that this is a continent that is actually taking a big advantage of the mobile connectivity and actually enabling a lot of services on the mobile phone.
Yeah.
And that is something that I'm really excited about, and it's going to be something that we will benefit from on this continent.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And one of the things that I've had to really adapt to as I've visited African countries more and more is like this idea of mobile money, being able to make payments just by someone's phone number. And yes, the technology exists in places like the UK, but it's not as adopted.
Absolutely.
And so in many respects, Africa is actually more advanced.
Yeah, we are leapfrogging. People don't have landlines at home, but the mobile phone actually provides most of the services that you find in other places where people use other technologies.
Yeah. And with your work, do you engage with other African countries? I know you've worked across Africa.
Yeah.
What's the ecosystem like there?
Yes, so we've seen the same kind of conversations going on in Kenya, in Rwanda, in Uganda, in South Africa, in Egypt and other African countries. Our next door neighbors, our next door neighbors, Nigeria, and many other African countries have realized that, look, this is a space where young people can be trained with the help of the internet connectivity, which now we have a lot.
Yeah.
We will be able to connect and support, businesses across the globe.
Yeah. And when we talk about young people being trained, I suppose for a lot of people, the apprehension will be, does the talent exist? Are they already at a good level? But actually being in places like Ghana, the argument for me is not whether or not the talent exists. The talent is already there, right?
Talent is there.
You've got people that are probably overtrained.
Absolutely.
And ready to do the work.
And what we've done the last decade is to train a lot of young people. Then we realized that the training alone is not enough. Now we need to attract businesses to come in here so that they can put those training to use. So when people are trained, they get opportunity to be able to work and then, build their capacity from there and move on and build a career.
Yeah.
So we are now focusing more on getting businesses to come in here because we've done a lot of training. Look, in Ghana, we have a pool of over 600,000 young people who have been trained, who are looking for opportunities. And definitely there are specific, customized training that is required, which I'll call them top up, that needs to be done for them to be able to work in specific industries. But generally, we have a lot of young people that have been trained.
Yeah.
Our universities are churning out over 500,000 young people.
Wow.
And out of that, over 100,000 are in the tech-enabled services. So we do have the talents.
Yeah.
And now we want to make sure that the businesses also benefit from those talents.
Yeah. And that's your message to businesses across the UK, Europe, United States. The talent is there. We're just waiting for the employers to be inspired to come and look for themselves.
Yeah, but some of them are already here.
Yeah.
Some of the big players are already here.
Okay.
We have Concentrix is here, Teleperformance is here. We also have local or indigenous companies like ISAL already operating here, employing thousands of people already.
Yeah.
But we still have a big pool.
Yeah. So there's a journey to be had, but actually Africa is already powering or starting to power the world through business process outsourcing.
Yeah, because some of these companies, and the statistics shows that, Ghana is the right destination. Not only Ghana, there are other African countries that have shown that they are actually doing well. If you go to South Africa, if you go to Egypt, if you go to Kenya, Morocco, I mean, they're all doing this stuff. And the numbers are showing that we can actually do more. Just that most companies are not sure. So what we want to tell them is just come, have a look.
Yeah.
Just come and shop, have a look. And then you make your decision.
Yeah. And of course, the beauty of every country in Africa is there is a flavor that will match a business's requirement.
Yeah.
You know, so if you need an Arab-speaking country, you have, you know, Egypt, Morocco, Algeria, etc. If you're very heavy on English or time zones, then you've got Ghana, Nigeria, etc. And then you have some skilled ecosystems like in Nairobi. And so actually there is a French-speaking, of course, Cote d'Ivoire, Congo. So really, there's not much of an excuse not to look at Africa as the business destination.
And you'll be surprised that the young people here are really, really interested in tech.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of innovation hubs.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, a lot of
but the listeners will be.
There are so many young people that have tried new solutions.
Yeah.
And sometimes they just need some kind of opportunity to be able to showcase and to exhibit. Then there are also a lot of people who are ready to work as back office, front office. There are people who are working in companies where there's non-voice. So they help with document processing. They help with, you know, insurance and other services, financial services. And if you look at how we're moving, because we have talent that are young, they also very good at using AI tools to be able to work more efficiently. So we are not worried that AI is coming to take over, because our young people are already using these tools to already work.
Yeah, and I was actually just about to ask you about AI, because for a lot of the business process outsourcing sector across the world, there is this worry or perception that AI is going to take a lot of the jobs. But actually, when you look at it, AI-enabled BPOs are growing exponentially.
Yeah.
Because more and more organizations are realizing that actually, with a human in the loop, that human could be anywhere.
Yeah.
Because AI is increasingly going to do a lot of their heavy lifting. And what you need is critical thinkers that are able to manage or be the fallback.
Yeah.
And so that could be anyone, anywhere. And so actually more organizations are going to probably look to outsource operations to become more efficient.
Yeah. So for example, let me give you an example. When you have maybe your typical social media application, or Google or any of these companies, and you encounter some issues online, either they flag you wrongly, the AI tool flags you wrongly. What happens is that there are people behind the scene that actually check. When you report that I've been flagged wrongly, and they go in and check whether there was some error in the algorithm, and they try to correct that. And all these young people are sitting in countries like Ghana doing this kind of stuff, with, annotation and stuff like that. And there will be a lot of these things. So there will be an army, and it's already starting to see this army of people behind the AI tools, ensuring that they are more efficient in delivering services to people.
Yeah.
So they're not really going to take over. There are going to be more drivers behind them to ensure that the results that you get from your AI tool are accurate and they are not misleading.
Yeah. So talk to me more about BOSAG. So, founded last year. I think I met you when you were about to make it official.
Yeah.
And you've made a lot of progress in a very short space of time. But what's the ambition? What's the strategy?
So the conversation of BOSAG started about 3 years ago, and we invited a lot of we call them analysts, people who are experts in the BPO space, to come and have a look at our ecosystem. And they encouraged us and said, look, you definitely need an industry association like BOSAG to help you coordinate the ecosystem and ensure that you are able to grow. So we then started a journey of officially setting up, and 2 years ago we launched it. But launching is not enough. You definitely need to have a strategy.
Yep.
So we then brought all the companies together to have our 5-year strategic plan. We aim at unlocking at least 100,000 jobs in the next 5 years.
Okay. Wow.
And we launched that 5-year strategic plan last year.
Yeah.
But it's not just about the plan, it's about coordinating the ecosystem players. So we have government agencies that are interested and they are on board. We have development partners, and also we have the private sector companies.
Yeah.
So all these players are working closely with BOSAG to ensure that we achieve these objectives.
Yeah.
But one of the things we want to do as part of our 5-year strategic plan is to make Ghana visible in the world of BPO.
Okay.
Ghana is visible when it comes to football.
Yes. Yes. At the
It's,
moment,
it's
yeah.
visible when it comes to cocoa. It's visible when it comes to gold. But most people don't know that we have talent.
Yeah.
So for us, gold is given.
Yeah.
Cocoa is given. The most important thing is the talent we have, the young people we have. They're amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, a lot of organizations, they don't want to be the first. Some do. The entrepreneurial ones, the ones that realize that when you're the first, you benefit significantly from that. But for a lot of organizations who maybe are slightly more conservative, they don't want to be the first. But they're not going to be the first.
Yeah.
Because there are thousands of people already employed here in the BPO, including folks in this building.
Yeah, yeah. And if some of the big players are already here, then don't be afraid. Because they look at risk even more than the small players. But they're already here. They're already operating here. They're already employing thousands of people. But you can also ride on that.
Yeah,
You know,
agreed.
small and mid-sized company can also ride on that income.
Okay, so talk to me about how the young people have been trained in Accra and in Ghana as a whole, because you've mentioned that they're ready, they're trained. What's the process? So what are the universities, the institutions?
So Ghana in the last 2 decades, we've made a lot of progress when it comes to higher education. So there are over 100 high institutions in Ghana that are actually training young people from secondary to university. And then also we do have a lot of interventions post-university. So we have development partners that are training people, the likes of MasterCard Foundation, GIZ, and many others that provide post-university training, which we call job readiness program. So for example, ESA runs a job readiness program.
Okay.
So there are a lot of organizations that run this program to prepare young people for employment, particularly in the sector of BPO.
Okay.
Then the government of Ghana also identified this as a major area. So the current government has launched the 1 million coders program, and it's aimed at training young people for the job market. It's not only people who can code. It's not only for those who are nerds. It's actually people who are interested in digital skills to be able to find decent jobs, whether they want to become freelancers or they want to work in companies like ESAL or Amalitech or 4IR or Concentric or Teleperformance. The government wants to ensure that a critical number of these young people are equipped to be able to work. It's also aimed at ensuring that companies that come to Ghana will not spend so much in building the capacity of these people before they find jobs.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we set up here last August.
Great, congratulations.
Yeah, that's been awesome. And we had over 3,000 applications.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I couldn't employ 3,000 people on day one. But the talent is something we were quite taken aback by, to be honest. We've got some really awesome people.
Yeah.
We're doing phenomenal work, and they're powering, organizations in the West through all the things we're doing. So yeah, I completely concur that the talent's there, and the level that they're at requires just a top up.
Exactly, just top up. And that's exactly what we want to do. And as BOSAG, we want to coordinate that as well. And even companies that don't have capacity to do that top up, we have training providers that will help them to ensure that the talents are ready, so you can go out there, source for business, and that it takes only a few weeks to be able to get a seats, for
and so talent aside, because I don't think talent for me is the big issue here.
Yeah.
And if people come and see for themselves, they visit Ghana, visit countries across the Africa subcontinent, they will see that talent is available in abundance.
Everywhere.
So that's not the challenge here. I suppose what some people may find challenging is how you then set up. If you say, okay, fine, I want access to human capital at very large volumes, competitively priced, my opportunity to make a real social impact as well, and also benefit from the obvious population growth in Africa. If they say, yes, I'm sold, how do I start?
Right.
What would your advice be?
Right. So the government has also realized that, we've, over the last many years, Ghana will soon be 70 years, but we've been basically, exporting, raw materials, cocoa, gold, and stuff like that. For talents, we now have agencies that are also helping in this process. One of that is the Ghana Investment Promotion Center and the Ghana Free Zone Authority.
Okay.
We want to make sure that there's a one-stop shop for companies to come to Ghana, set up quickly, and have all the things that they need to be able to operate. And there are also tax incentives for companies that come to Ghana and that are interested in just talents to, provide services to clients abroad, particularly if you are able to show that you are exporting your services, 70% of your services abroad. You can actually get the free zone status.
Okay. Wow.
You can set up anywhere in the country and have your free zone license and operate. And that gives you a tax holiday of 10 years.
Okay, wow.
And you can also import your furniture, equipment that you use to work, and any other thing that will aid you in setting up and working from Ghana. And that's a huge incentive that we have here. And the Ghana Free Zone Authority takes just about a month to set up and get that going.
Wow.
So from day one, you can actually enjoy, tax holidays and operate from Ghana.
Yeah, which is super helpful. I mean, especially when you're competing with places where, we'll say their tax situation is a bit more interesting.
Yeah, and you can actually repatriate everything.
Okay.
After auditing and everything. There's no restriction. There are no restriction on repatriation of your investment.
Okay. Wow. That's very helpful to know.
Yeah.
And in the UK and the US, there's an ease to register a business. You just go online, fill out form, done. But actually, in Africa, it's a bit different.
Yeah.
There is maybe slightly more paperwork, etc.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily ideal, but I would also argue that it's not atypical. Because if you want to register a business in the Middle East, for example, you can't just fill out a form online. You still go through the same processes. So there's you have to understand the cultural nuances, but also recognize that it's not unique in many respects.
And we're trying to harmonize that as well. And BOSAG is trying to lead that to make sure that there's a one-stop shop. So that when you come, you are able to get all that done with ease.
Okay.
And then there's some integration and coordination with the different agencies for the companies to have soft landing, because our ultimate aim is to open Ghana when it comes to the areas of global business services, because after exporting all the raw materials, now we want the talent to stay here.
Yeah.
Now we want them to have the services and be able to work and earn decent income.
Yeah.
And there's an impact sourcing part of it as well. There are young people coming from the countryside or stay in the countryside, and we want to make sure that they also have access, able to work and able to earn a decent income.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing, because the same way too many folks feel like they have to leave their country to self-actualize economically, you also have this drag towards capital cities, and that's not just in Ghana, across the world, same challenge.
Yeah.
But technology means
a lot of
that
traffic and everything.
Yeah, which is not something. Anyway, I personally don't love being in traffic, right? But actually, with technology, there's no reason why people shouldn't be able to stay in their place.
Yeah.
And for that place to benefit economically from their own self-actualization.
And we do have the mobile connectivity, coverage across the country.
Yeah.
So young people can actually sit and work from any part of the country. And that, I think, is a big advantage. Look, I have a young man who works for me, who is a graphic designer. I don't see him. He stays like 200 kilometers away from Accra.
Wow.
And he's able to work. He designs everything, loads it online, and then we print them here.
Yeah.
So you can imagine this person is now not coming to the city, earns the same income as those who are sitting in the city, and also will not have to worry about accommodation, about transport, and all that. And this is how we want to open up the country, so that people are able to develop their talents, able to work, able to earn income wherever they are.
Yeah, because when you think BPO, you think big centers, data centers, etc.
Just one group.
And it's great. And it's important that you have the infrastructure. And of course, when you're dealing with, maybe financial services from a security perspective, there's just a need. But there's so many roles that are outsourced where you can work from home. And I think you mentioned there's some organizations, when we spoke earlier, that have hundreds of people working remotely.
There are some of the big players in Ghana that are actually having hundreds of people working from home. They provided them with all the setup that they need, internet, backup for power and everything, and they are able to comfortably work from home. And these are in hundreds of people working from home. And this is also possible for people who want to just get freelancers to work for them. There are thousands of freelancers working for companies, and we are trying to support them to ensure that they are able to work in a safe environment.
Yeah, amazing. So what haven't we covered? What is your message to businesses across the globe who are looking to offshore their operations, or who are already doing that in some of the countries in and around Asia and South America?
So in Africa, most countries just look at South Africa and North Africa, look at Egypt, Morocco. But in the West African region, I would say Ghana is one of the areas you should focus on. Nigeria, Kenya, they're all emerging. So my message to companies is that, first of all, just come and have a look. Beyond business, Ghana is also a place where you can have a lot of fun. And have a look, have a bit of fun, and then go back and make a decision. We've done this a couple of times, and companies have come and they've now settled and started working here. So it is better when you make that decision to have a look, and then you can have all the others that to follow. But one other thing that I really want to get companies to know about, it's in Ghana, there's direct flight. We also in the middle of the world, longitude, latitude, 0 degrees. So we can serve clients in UK, in other parts of Europe, in the US. It's easy. The time difference is not that much. It's not like, young people have to wake up in the night to be able to serve clients. So that time difference is also an advantage. And then also there's direct flight. If you want to come here, direct flight from, major hubs coming to Africa, you find direct flights into Ghana. And I think that the infrastructure that we have is beyond expectation when people come in here, from the airports to the restaurants, and also a very good nightlife here. So I really want to encourage companies to come and have a look, and also talk to the companies that are already operating here. There are quite a number of them that are already operating here, and then make a decision.
And I know in the world of BPO, a lot of business is done because people first come and they enjoy the experience and they want to come back. And so, I don't know, obviously during December, a lot of people come.
Dirty December is always here.
You said it.
In Accra, we have, Ghana is also a place where there's a lot of rich cultural heritage and also history about the country. We are the first sub-Saharan African country to gain independence. So if you come, you can also visit our museums, and where we have a lot of stories to tell about the liberation of the continent, and many others. We have beautiful beaches. If you want to be here, you can also experience that. And I think the most important thing about Ghanaians is that we are warm. So Ghanaians are very warm, welcoming. From the airport, you see that, and whether you go to the restaurants or you sit in an Uber, you can easily pick up conversations with people, and you feel at home.
I certainly feel at home. I'm really happy to be here. This is why I've come back, and this is why we're doing what we're doing first and foremost in Accra, Ghana. So David, this has been a wonderful conversation.
Great talking to you.
I think we've covered quite a bit. But the main points that we want to drive home here, right, is come visit, experience it, see the examples, that you won't be the first. There's already so many interesting things happening in and around BPO ecosystem in Accra. Africa's huge, Africa's growing, so many opportunities, so much talent. So if you don't engage, you're the one that's going to be missing out. Amazing. Well, wishing you all the best, David.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time.